Okay, Stampers, I'm going to show you how to color Spunky. I am using RO2, 5, and 8 for the tie and the Be Mine. I am using RV23 and 25 for the heart. And then for Spunky, I am using the C3, 5, 7, and 10. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to start with Spunky himself. And I am going to start actually with the darkest color this time. Normally when I'm coloring, I like to start with the lightest color and color in the whole image, but since he is alive, living, I like to, I want some texture to him, for his fur. And I am going to actually start with the darkest then that way and pull out my colors from the darkest area. So I am going to go in where the darkest areas would be and just add a little bit of color. And right around his legs where the shadows are, and then on his tail, right at the base of his tail is going to be the darkest. And you can actually leave some more of the brush strokes when you're coloring, and that's going to give some more of the texture, and it's going to look more like it's fur. And then I'm going to come back up here to the tail and do the same thing, bringing it out from the darkest areas, the deepest areas, and bring that around. And then around his face, on this side, his nose is going to be darker underneath his nose, and right above his eye on that side. And I'm just going to do a little bit of the darker around the edge, just to kind of give him some more depth when we go to add the other color. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the C7, and I'm going to pull out some of this color and bring it out a little bit more. And you can see when you add that lighter color, it's pulling out the color and blending the lines. It's okay if you have a little bit more of the defined lines, because it'll be like fur. It's going to look more like fur. And then I'm going to leave this top part here for the lightest section. I'm just going to color over this middle section here. And again, pull out a little bit more color. I want his face lighter so you can really see the detail in his face. So I'm not going to add too much of the darker grays there. I'm going to wait for the lighter grays. And then down here around the heart and around his hand, pretty much just kind of follow through with the edges. And then around his belly section, kind of pull out some of that on the leg. And I'm going to hit some of his hands too. Just the back side. We'll do the fingertips lighter. Okay, then I'm going to go to the C5. and pull out just a little bit. Just leave a little bit of the white for the lightest gray. You don't need a whole lot. And I'm starting to use a little bit more of the circle motion to kind of pull out some of that color where I want it to blend more. And then on his face, kind of blend in. I'm going to do his eye too. And just kind of leave his cheek, I think. Do that the lightest. And you can kind of go over to the darkest area and pull out some of that color as well. So you get a little bit more blending on his face. And then a little bit on his hands, leaving the darkest on the edge. And now let's go to the C3. This is the lightest color. And this is what's going to give it the highlight. And you can pretty much go over it now with your circle motions and kind of blend out your color. Go ahead and blend that in. You might have to go back with your other colors and kind of blend in some of your dark again. Depending on how dark you want your skunk. When you're coloring black, it's funny because you don't want to color just the whole image black, because black does have shades. There are different shades when you're coloring the black. And once you color with the grays like this, you can see you can really add the different shades of the black, and you can see the different details in the skunk or in your object that you're coloring. So see, you've got some darker dimensions here. And on the face, I'm going to go back in with some of the darker and work on the legs and on the face a little bit. Let's start with the C5 and add a little bit more of the C5. And the same thing with the legs. I'm just kind of brushing out some of the color, some of the darkest area. That was a little bit too dark. But the nice thing about the Copics is when you go over a dark color with your lighter shades, it does bleach out and lighten the color. So don't be afraid if you think you've got it too dark, that you've ruined it. You can go back and pull out your color. It's amazing how forgiving Copics are. I'm going to actually go in there a little bit. And then I can see around the bottom of the heart in his hand here, I want to go a little bit darker, so I'm going to go in with the C7 and just add just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, so you can start to see Spunky standing out here. And if you want to add just a touch more shadow to where those lines are, I'll color him in there too. I'm going to go in there with the C5 on the top here. Kind of blend that a little bit more. Okay. And then you can just keep working on this until you get the blending and the coloring that you like. The more ink you get down on your cardstock when you're coloring, the easier these colors blend and the smoother your blend is going to be. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and call Spunky good. And since we're going to be flocking the white, I'm not even going to hassle coloring that white section or his top of his head. His nose, though, I am going to color with the C10. This is the darkest of the grays without going to the black. And if you want to leave just a speck of white on there, you can. Or if you have a white jelly roll pen, you can go back and just add a highlight across the top of the nose. It's amazing what that little bit will do. I'm actually going to come over here, color his eye over there too. This is C5. And then for his eye, I'm going to use B37. Make him have a little bit of a tinted blue eye. And again, if you want to leave a little white speck, you can, or go in with your white gel pen, and that just brings him to life when you add just that little speck of white. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and color the heart, and I'm going to color this the way I normally do with blending. I'm going in with my lightest color. This is the RV23, and I'm just going to go ahead and use circle motions. And since my Be Mine words are going to be darker, I'm not even worrying about coloring around the words. I'm just going to go ahead and fill in this whole section. Just realized I forgot that part of his arm there. I need to go back and color it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my base color with circle motions, fill in, and then I'm going to go in with the RV25 and kind of just do my brushing strokes to the center and leave the center of the heart as the highlight. And you want to make sure when you do this, start at the outside and brush in, leaving a lighter brush stroke toward the middle. That's going to make your blending softer. Your lines blend softer. And then you also want to go around the edges again with the RV23 and blend where those lines meet. See, that kind of just softens it right there. And now I'm going to go back here and color in this spot that I forgot. This is the C5. Color in that. I'm going to go in with some C7. Make it a little bit darker. Okay. And then for the bow, I'm going to start with the RO2. And I'm just going to color the whole bow in with my circle motions. I'm also going to give him a bit of rosy cheek with the R02. Just kind of go up above his little mouth curve here and just do a circle. It kind of gives him a cute grin. And then with the R05, go in from the center, and I'm going to pull out about 2/3 of the way. And the same thing with this side. Pull it about 2/3. And then if you want to do a little bit on the middle of the bow, you can do that. And then the R08 is going to go out about 1/3 of that distance, or a little bit heavier underneath where it's going to be darker shadows. You want the center to be the heaviest color because that's where the depth is going to be. And then go ahead and blend in your colors from the outside in. And that kind of blends in that those colors. I'm going to go ahead and just color in the whole thing. Okay. So there you go. There's Spunky. And since we are doing the flocking on his tail, I'm not going to color any of that again. Oh, I forgot to do the B mine. I'm going to do that just with the the R08. And I'm just going to go ahead and trace over that. Okay, and that is it. Hope you enjoyed that. And I will see you again soon, Stampers. Happy coloring!